Okay, so it's July the 27th, 2022, and we're going to do a slideshow and a channeling, a transcript with Ashira, commander of UFOG again. This is another one. And well, let's just jump right in. Oh, and it looks like Arita, we're gonna mute you. We stay on mute during these slideshows. Okay, let's go. Actually, I'm going to share a screen right away first and just put up. Okay, there we go. And oh, you know what? I can't do that. Sorry. I got to do this first. Okay, we're going to go right into the channeling.
Everybody, relax, sink into your chair, your bed, the floor, your car seat, wherever you are, and let go of the week, of your to-do list, and just thank yourself taking this time for you, for your spiritual self, for your emotional self, for your mental self, and anchor in your heart and take a nice deep breath of that wonderful color, that ray called halion, that sweet mix of mint green and electro blue. And let's throw in some blue diamond. And Archangel Uriel is asking to add some of his silver flame. And feel this chakra at the base of your rib cage. And breathe it in. And smell the mint and taste the mint. And feel yourself sinking down, still anchored in your heart, but sinking down to this chakra point. And feel it open. And feel that there's a spiral coming out of your body, out of this chakra, a beautiful, brilliant, multicolored, multi-ray spiral. And it's spiraling out from you, out through the room, through the roof of your house or your building, up into the sky, all the way to your star brothers and sisters. All the way to the Neptune, to that massive mothership of the unified forces. And as you're spiraling out, feel yourself traveling on that spiral. Let's bilocate. So feel your energy following the spiral further and further out past the blue dome of the sky into what you think of as deep space. And there in the distance, getting closer and closer, is this massive ship. And you see the doors opening, and the welcome committee hugging you, 2 fingers to the heart. And taking you on board. And rather than taking you to the reception area, you look into their smiling eyes. They ask you, what do you want to see first? Is it the nursery school or the healing chambers or the flight deck, the gardens? You get to choose. And simply go. Go exploring. Know that you're anchored to Gaia and that you can come back this beautiful spiral into your Halion chakra when you choose.
Okay. There we go. Okay. So that was Linda Dillon, the channel for the Council of Love, and a meditation taking us out to the Neptune, to the mothership, to Ashira, the commander of the unified forces of the outer galaxies, his ship. So this is a channeling from 2014, but I just wanted to go through the meditation one more time, just so we can really anchor it in, because there's some amazing things that were said here. So basically, we were thanking ourselves for taking the time for our spiritual self, our emotional self, and our mental self. Anchored in our heart, we took a beautiful breath of the ray called Halion, that is a mix of mint green and electra blue. And we threw in some blue diamonds. So I put up the tri-flame within the heart to the left here, and you could see the blue flame. That's the blue diamond energy of the mother. And Archangel Uriel was asking to add some of his silver flame as well. So there's a tiny bit of silver in the pink flame in the middle, and that's the color of truth. So feel this chakra at the base of your rib cage. So it's right under the heart chakra, and breathe it in and smell the mint and taste the mint. Feel yourself sinking down, still anchored in your heart, but sinking to this chakra point, and feel it open, and feel that there is a spiral coming out of your body, out of this chakra. It's a beautiful multicolored, multi-ray spiral, and it's spiraling out of you, out through the room, through the roof of your house or your building, up into your sky. So just That chakra is blue and green. So it's a spot, blue and green spiral. And we went all the way to the Neptune, the massive mothership of the unified forces. As you're spiraling out, feel yourself traveling on that spiral. And Linda said, bilocate. So sitting in our chair and bilocating. So we're imagining ourselves on the Neptune, past the blue dome of the sky into what you think of as deep space. And there we see the massive ship with the doors opening and the welcome committee hugging us, 2 fingers to the heart. So that's a very specific greeting where you take 2 fingers and you place them on the heart chakra. And then rather than taking you to this reception area, they are asking us what we would like to see. So there's a nursery school on the ship, there's healing chambers, there's the flight deck, the gardens, and they asked us to go exploring. That's a beautiful meditation, and it's a fun one to do, and just let yourself explore the ship. Okay, so last week we learned about Porlana C and how it's spiraling around the planet, and then Darren asked about how the ascension spiral is related. So what I saw was the Porlana C, the blue energy, is actually spinning counterclockwise, which I've seen before. That is the forgiveness of everything. We wind back the past, going counterclockwise into that peaceful center in the heart. And then we move forward in gratitude, and the golden spiral is connected to our joy, to gratitude, to sacred purpose. And of course, everything is connected into the heart chakra, the 13th octave, everything that we've been learning. Okay, and then here's some of the colors. You can see the emerald and the halion is here. This is the 13 chakra system. It's like a rainbow of colors, and that's just a little overview there. And then this is the gender equality within that blue and the yellow. It's really anchoring us in our masculine and our feminine within. So we remember that we are that equality within. And that's knowing that and understanding that is what helps create it in the without. When we're acting from that balance within, we help create that on planet. Okay, so this is the beginning of the channeling. It was March 11th, 2014. Ashira says, greetings, I am Ashira. I am Ashira of Neptune. Welcome and thank you, and I bring you greetings. I bring you greetings and salutations. Blessings from the unified forces of the outer galaxies, from all the star fleets, from the council, and I mean the intergalactic council. I welcome all of you, and I thank you, dear friends, dear family, for inviting me this day, for it has been some time since I've had this opportunity to speak. I come to you this day not only as Commander-in-Chief, not to speak merely of technology or the workings of our fleet. I come to you as brother, and I come to you with open heart and open hands to speak to you, one heart to another. We are not some distant entity. We are not angels. We are not ascended masters. Have we evolved? Yes, and because we have been through our own evolution process, might I suggest to you that we are very close to you, and we understand, and might I even say empathize with your evolution process. You, my beloved friends of Gaia, are doing magnificently. Whether it is Michael or the mother, Saint Germain or Maitreya, the message that all of us bring is and needs to be consistent. We're very big, by the way, about consistency. We consistently tell you, yes, of encouragement, but also of fact. You are doing magnificently. Is there still war and chaos and mayhem, starvation and rape and pillage? Yes, but the heart of humanity, which is truly the measure, is changing. It is altering, it is evolving, it is rising up collectively and individually. You are embracing what you know as divine qualities. you are adhering to and working with the law. And as you know, we studied 13 divine qualities and 13 laws, and we're going to go back and review them again once we've done a few more channelings with Ashira. It is very easy, and trust me, we've been there. It is too easy to point out what is wrong, but it is more important to pay attention and to build on what is right, what is working, what is beautiful, what is worthwhile, what fills your heart. We are in cooperation with you. There has been a fair amount of discussion, both here on heavenly blessings, which we all listen to, by the way. He's talking about Star Family listening to heavenly blessings and an hour with an angel, as well as cosmic vision news. And that was with Jeffrey West, as well as your new offerings and your old offerings. We are always tuned in. We have listened to your discussions with interest, with empathy, with excitement on divine partnership and union, for this is where I wanted to begin today. And it was to mention and to give you a glimpse, to share our perspective, and that is that we are in sacred union with you. The partnership and love, known and unknown, experienced and yearned for, the love that we share, the partnership that we share is cherished and valued by us. We don't view this, our relationship, as something that we could ever simply abandon, lose our tempers, pick up and leave. We've been at this too long, and we know you individually and collectively. We know you too well. Many of us, as many of you who are listening, know that we are in individual sacred union with you as well. But in the bigger sense, the bigger picture, part of our mission, but also what we collectively and individually have chosen to do, yes, as our mission and purpose, as our service to the mother. But you know, you don't wake up in the morning and say, how am I going to serve the mother in an esoteric way? It is very practical. You get up, you put on your clothes, you either drink some tea, coffee, or water with lemon, and then you think, what am I going to do today? It is very similar with us. The backdrop to our existence, to our lives, is our projects, our relationship with you. It's not something that we get up and we think about. Well, we don't really have to sleep anyway, but that's a whole other discussion that we will probably touch on. But we don't get up and think about, how am I going to serve the mother? Is it part of our consciousness? Of course it is, but it's a given. We are with you. We are with you. We love you, and we're not going anywhere. We will wait and wait and wait. And if you think you've been frustrated, you should talk to some of my crew. Okay. So then Susie asked about, there was a Malaysia Airlines flight 370 that went missing March the 8th and in 2014, and it was very mysterious. It just disappeared. So Susie asked about that, and Ashira said it was not interdimensional slippage, and they were not taken by us. Let us be very clear. We would not do that, not at this point, because from our perspective, that would be seen as an act of war or terrorism. We would not break that many hearts. What happened was that there was an explosion and the ship went down. Could we have saved it? There are certain things that we are not permitted to interfere with. But let us also, now this is what we can say, on that ship, everyone was taken care of. When I say we, I mean we, the intergalactics, but I also mean Archangel Michael and several of your ascended masters, who are also our ascended masters. By the way, is that not a question? Do we work with the same ascended masters? Yes, we do. Do we work with a broader spectrum? Yes, we do. But there were many upon that ship who, as a collective, and this is something that often happens, is a group soul, whether you realize it or not, who have agreed to leave together. Now, those who did not want to pass from their form were beamed up. Then Susie asked about the situation in the Ukraine and Russian contact with extraterrestrials. And Ashira said, the Russian people have been given historically and currently enormous openings and opportunity to be a point of contact and a point of opening between the various fleets and humanity. You're speaking to me now as commander, what you would call commander-in-chief. We have intervened as much as we possibly can, not because we are acting in ways that are making contact with the Russian people, but in ways to prevent brutality. What is going on with Russia, the Ukraine, the Crimea, and we cannot leave China out of this mix, and the United States of America for that matter. What is going on is ego, and it is the flexing of ego muscles, national ego muscles. There is not a sacred cause behind this. Now, one of the things we keep saying, and one of the reasons why we have not, as you would put it, landed on the White House lawn, is that we are not going to engage in drama. There will be enough drama. And it's interesting that he said there will be, because I feel like we're still working through that drama and they're not interfering. They're standing back and watching. We will not engage in warlike behavior. And so we are not going to make what you have termed disclosure or arrival or a presence known other than in ways of protection and intervention. We are not going to do that as a reward for war. So this is not about Russia making way for us. We are quite capable of making way for ourselves. Russia has been offered this opportunity time and time and time again, and we are still very optimistic that they will take us up on it. But the situation that is going on right now is a clearing of old, very old, almost archetypal behaviors on the part of human beings. You see, one of the things that we foresee, and one of the things that was pivotal and is pivotal about Gaia becoming a full member of the Intergalactic Council, which is not made up of this nation state or that nation state. They are planetary, they are galactic. So this behavior and this warring allegiance to a nation state is very foreign to us. So while we honor and on board ship and throughout the fleet, we have hundreds of what you would think of as cultures, heritages, nationalities, planetary shapes, biological systems, but it would never dawn on us not to honor the culture or the customs or the way of communication. But the attachment in the most positive sense of the word, the loyalty to the galaxy, to the one, not to this or that power structure. That is truly the oldest, most archaic paradigm there is. You might as well be talking about monarchies. Then Susie asked about a cigar-shaped craft that was filmed in the Crimea. And Ashira said, that's us. That is one of our ships. And as we say, we are intervening and we're making our presence known. We have been very clear that we will not allow violence to escalate beyond a certain level. Now we know that humanity is working out collectively many issues, many false grids, paradigms, false belief systems lost in us. You have a million terms for one thing. That is good and that is fine. That is like a rebellious teenager trying to find their center and their sense of self. We are simply giving a very gentle reminder that there is a greater force to be reckoned with, and we do not mean in any way, shape, or form of violence. We don't use violence. What we found over thousands and thousands of years, violence doesn't work. It begets violence. And Susie says, will say thank you from my heart and the collective heart of humanity, if I may, for all the work you've done once again. It's just so appreciated. And there's so much that we don't know about what you do. It's all this love, and I just really appreciate it. And she asked, could you tell me if there's a pyramid there in the Crimea? And Ashira says, yes, there is. How does it figure into the current situation, or does it? It has been there for a long time. There are pyramids, more pyramids than you know, all over the planet. And then there are also what we would call generators, generator crystals, points of convergence. What the pyramids are for, they are, think of them as points or coordinates on the grid, and they are energy generators. Now, there is a trend that we have noticed amongst many of our beloved light workers to talk about free energy. Energy has always been free. It is only part of the old paradigm that people are actually charging and paying for the resources of Gaia. It is quite peculiar. But what these pyramids, people tend to think of pyramids as sacred places, and they are, but they are not very old places. They are not necessarily places of riches. They are energy generators. So that's what is there for, and one of the backstories, as you would call it, for the pyramid in the Crimea is simply that there is a misunderstanding that perhaps they can harness that energy and use it and sell it. That is not the point. The pyramids, think of them also, as we have said, they are energy generators, points on the grid. And now we're talking not just the grid of Gaia, but intergalactically. They, just like the crystals that have been embedded and that Gaia has so graciously shared with us, they are energy generators. Below many of the pyramids of various kinds, including some of the ancient mounds, there are energy plates, and they will play a very big role, not only in future energy for the planet, clean energy for the planet, but also in the cities of light. For example, under Giza, there is a huge generator. Your closest reference point would be a nuclear generator, but it is not. And it's underneath the sands. How has it not been detected? Well, we have many ways in which to shield, and we do. Okay, and then Susie asked, what needs to take place before in-person contact with our galactic family reunion? Ashira, we have been waiting a lot longer than you, but you know, it isn't a contest, and it isn't a contest because also our interdimensional, transdimensional experience of time is somewhat different than yours. It is not that we do not understand your 24 hours, 7-day, monthly cycles of time. Of course we do, but our perception of time, the passage of time, and how we measure time is somewhat different. The technology that we bring to Earth is like hors d'oeuvres. It is not the main event. What we look forward to is reunion. I know the yearning of your hearts. I know the yearning of your souls, and I know the yearning, and yes, in certain situations, the impatience of many of you, and certainly of my fleet. That is one of the reasons why we already have had so many beings on the ground, basically preparing the way. Now, many of you have had experiences where you have encountered a star brother or sister or friend. But what has to happen, we're not asking, nor are we waiting for all of you to be saints, to be living completely in the divine qualities. We are not waiting for ascension, but there are certain vibrations that need to be compatible, and it's a love vibration. Now, I don't mean romantic love or even familiar love, but there does need to be a vibration of love that is high enough so that we can meet in the middle. It is more than just that we abhor violence, nastiness, greed. We're working on your control issues. If there is one thing that we are truly working on, your recalcitrant groups on, it is control. So it needs to be that there is a place where we can meet, and it is not merely an interdimensional meeting place. Gaia is quite firmly ensconced in the fifth. That's the fifth dimension. And most of you are, by the way, as well. You're just not fully aware of it. Have you ever gone to a gathering or a party or a situation where you walk in and the energy is so discordant, you don't even take the time to identify it? It is just that there is a danger, a flashing light, and you know, I'd better get out of here. That's what it is for us. Now, we have had, and I might say some of our most adventurous troops have taken up residence, some back and forth, but some permanent. They get leave, they get to come back, but they are taking up residence on Gaia. And not only are they adjusting to the vibration of frequency, that is often why they first, what you would call land, they come to less populated areas because the energy density is not as thick as discordant. They are adjusting and they are migrating to the places of chaos And what they're doing on behalf of not just UFOG, but many of the fleets, is that they are attuning not only themselves, but us, and particularly the landing fleets, so that we would be able to tolerate your atmosphere. And we don't mean the quality of oxygen, we mean the emotional atmosphere. Yes, it is very difficult, and that is why we are always shaking our heads and wondering what's taking so long to change it. All my beloved light workers and light holders are saying exactly the same thing, and that is why so many of you, some knowing, some unknowing, spend a great deal of your sleeping R&R time up here on ship, so that you can be fortified to keep going. But that's what's required. We're not saying that all the divine qualities need to be anchored. We do not see ourselves as substantially different. But one of the things that we have learned is to hold those lesser vibrations, the hatred, the mayhem, the willingness to kill, the willingness to let your neighbor starve, the willingness to live in societies where someone has everything and another person sleeps on the street. We have learned that doesn't work. Now, Archangel Michael has said to you, you collectively, that you have need to reach a place where this is simply not acceptable. For us, we know, and that you should never forget, that there will always be a residue of the old third, so that you don't forget. It is the same with us. Now, we're not in the third dimension. We tend to be slightly in the fifth, but more in the seventh and eighth. But we remember how dangerous, literally to our survival, it is to engage in those emotions, those qualities, those accents of hatred, of killing. We can't do it, we won't do it. So we work from afar, we're trying to adjust. Well, we don't just try, we are making our adjustments in your frequency and in ours so that we can come together. One of the rationales, the workaround that we all came up with as a result of the Intergalactic Council or directive was that we would have what you would refer to as boots on the ground so that you would get used to us. You are encountering us. Let us tell you how you see us. We have made sure, regardless of the humanoid form, that we are adopting, that we have what we would call stars in our eyes, that there are pinpricks and starbursts of light in our eyes, that we are kind, that we are gentle, strong but gentle, considerate. So yeah, it's really important to look in the eyes of people and you'll see the stars. You won't discover one of your star brothers and sisters pushing in front of you at the grocery. They may yield their place and engage you in conversation. So this is how you know us. We are often, usually actually tall. It's just our way. We also like to be able to see what's going on. So they are tall. I am telling you this, all of you, frankly and honestly, perhaps more frankly than we ever have, so that you do know what's required. We have said time and time again, we won't come in a situation that is going to evoke fear. And as you, well, some of you know, that is exactly what went awry with the proposed trip for some of you to the Neptune, is that it was couched in the threat of violence, and we could never allow that. We will not engage in violence. But the good news is you're almost there. There's a handful of people, humans, yes, still working out their issues. But the populace is tired of war, is tired of chaos, is tired of inequity, is tired of have and have not. And more importantly, they see through the charades that the so-called leaders are playing. The populace is at the tipping point. And I might say that we have our hand on that scale and we're helping for the populace to simply say no more. And I feel like a lot of the chaos that's been happening recently, the collective is saying that more and more and more. So even those who are wearing battle fatigues and sitting in tanks and machine gun nests in the caves on the plains, they are so weary of heart. They don't sit thinking, I can't wait to pull a trigger or throw a grenade or kill somebody. What they are thinking is, I wish I was home holding my newborn baby. And then Susie says, well, being tired of the way things are and being able to live from the heart are two different things completely. I'm wondering if the tsunami of love is designed to wash all those fears and doubts away so that we can just be in our hearts, all of us. And Ashira says that is exactly what the tsunami is designed for. It is a cleansing, and it is a cleansing that the mother is giving Gaia, giving humanity to wash away the debris so that only the brightness of each being's divinity is left and the knowing of that divinity. And Susie says, so the effect of the tsunami on people who are already living from the heart, will that serve to help restore us to full memory? Because we would be so much more efficient and powerful in our abilities to help the shift along. And Ashira says, you are the new leadership. And Susie says, we want to get on with it. And Ashira says, you are getting on with it. First, the tiredness, the weirdness of war. And we think of war as all types of conflict or confrontation. So it's not just physical war, it's any war that we're having with our fellow brothers and sisters on planet. Had to happen because if it was not present, what would happen with the tsunami is that it would mostly short circuit people and they would die. The energy is that strong. So they are ready, and might I suggest we are ready, you are ready, and the mother has already begun opening the floodgates. And Susie asks, what can we expect? And Ashira says miracles. Now, miracles to you is every day to us. And I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I mean, expect the unexpected and expect the fulfillment of what you've been waiting for on many, many fronts, political, societal, financial, cultural. Does it all happen in one day, one of your days, where all of a sudden everything ceases? No, but it does happen like a domino. And the good news is that the dominoes have already started falling. You are already in that catalytic conversion process and it won't be stopped. It would take, well, the mother could always stop it, but she has no intention of it. Her design of, it would take her design, of which we are also a part of, is for this to increase, not to halt. So what you are looking at, and you do tend to look at things like the equinox and the time of revitalization, of rebirth, of spring. There is nothing more exciting than springtime on Gaia. Susie says, I know that we've been working together already in a form of energy work, and we are in partnership already. I haven't got much confirmation though, beyond that warm fuzzy feeling of being in service. Can we look forward to a more tangible and unmistakable partnership with you, meaning the collective you, in cleaning up the planet? And Ashira says, yes. Now Gaia and we, the collective we, as you put it, have already been working diligently for a long time. One of the major things we are doing right now, as you know, we have spoken of once again, for the first time in over 50 years, we are bathing the planet in pink. Not only Gaia herself, but all of humanity. It is our contribution to the preparation for the fullness of the tsunami, and it is a very gentle pink. But if you allow your eyes to go a little out of focus and you look at the air around you, you will notice that there is a pink tinge to it. That is us, and that is part of our partnership. So yes, we are in conscious partnership. Also note the pink sunrise and sunset. You can really see it, this pink that he's talking about. But let us also throw something into the mix. We are in service to you. So often, and because of the history of the human collective and the way that control and so-called leadership has been historically experienced, you tend to think of yourself in service to a cause, to the mother, to a leader, to a country, etc. And then you tend to think you are in service to the masters. You are in service to the archangels, and you are in service to us. So let us be very clear on this. We are as much, and in the beginning of our interactions, face to face, hand to hand, heart to heart, we are far more in service to you, and we are thrilled. We are excited about it because there is a lot to do and we know how to do it. So you don't have to try, for example, and fix the plumbing. If you have a plumber in the house, well, we know how to fix many of the ailing of what is wrong and what you would like to rectify. So yes, we will be tangibly, physically, face to face, not in dream time, not in bilocation to be on board ship, but on Gaia in form. Susie says, surely you feel how so many of the collective, all the people that I know want that so much. And Ashira says, can we say this? Well, we've talked a lot, and I thank you for allowing me to talk a lot about this frequency business, about the vibration business. And when you and all of you who are listening and far beyond, when you are holding that anxiousness, that excitement, that yearning in your heart for us to be with you, it raises the frequency, it raises the vibration, it gives us full permission, and it matches our vibration, our yearning, our excitement, our readiness. So please don't stop. And Susie says, we're so grateful for this conversation. I really look forward to having more of them. Would it be accurate to say that we won't see prosperity packages released or the global currency reset until the cabal has been in effect disabled? And are you able to offer a status on that situation? And Ashira says, no, prosperity reset, abundance packages, everything you're thinking of that falls into those categories is part of the defeat of the cabal. So it is not dependent upon the cabal being completely what you call the cabal, what we call recalcitrance. It is not dependent. That would give them far too much power, and they've had enough power. So no, it is not dependent. Okay, and then there were some callers that called in, and one fellow wanted a little bit more clarity around the Malaysian plane disappearance. And Ashira says, now, as I've said, this disappearance of the Malaysian plane was not our doing, but your question is bigger than that, is it not? It is, could we basically interdimensionally shift a plane and then allow it to reappear? Yes, we could do that. Think of the fear because of your media, because of your government, that would cause, if all of a sudden there was a knowing that we could pick up jumbo jets and put them down somewhere else. This would give entire economies, rather than feeding the poor, would then be funneled into military technology. And that is the last thing we want. We want the heart awakening, which has been occurring. You see, this is one of the things that happened during the intergalactic wars, was the shifting in between dimensions, realities, and what you would think of as super technology. And in that slippage, in that transfer, planets were destroyed. Every inhabitant on the planet was killed. So we're not going to employ that, because even on Earth, because there are so many star seeds and brave ones who have volunteered to oversee, yes, oversee this ascension process, it would evoke those memories and those concerns that that level of technology had been implemented again. We won't do it. Now, will we do other things to assist in the awakening? Yes, we will, and we are. Do you remember when we did a flyby at the London Olympics? Nobody remembers or comments. There have been massive flyovers, and the next day they're covered up by the powers that be, to which the media comply. So it is not that we have not given evidence. It is that the evidence is buried and ignored, but we're not going to stop. In fact, we are upping it. Ashira says there are many projects underway in the United States, in Mexico, and Latin America, all over Europe and Australia as well. It is not, as we were saying, it is not that there is not ample photographic evidence of our, and he says what we're seeing is the smaller ships, but nevertheless, you're very conscious of our ships. That is the way we are making contact right now, rather than massive contact. With some of those beings that are looking to see the ships and identify them, which is good work, is they are looking still for a landing and for beings that are very different, alien to come forth. And that is not the way that we are going to present ourselves. And in closing, Ashira says, what I would like to say is how much we love the people of Earth. Have we traveled from afar, our particular fleet? Yes, we have. And I will tell you that 87% of my fleet is still in the outer galaxies. I command from a distance, but we have come here. There is a historical connection between us. You are the return of the creator race. You are a group of humans of beautiful souls that have decided, because you know innately the importance and the value of community, of heart union, that you would ascend as one. That the individual ascension, as marvelous and as fulfilling as it is nothing compared to going as one into a new realm of being. Your hearts and your bodies are not only persistent and consistent, you are stalwart. You say, whether it is to me or my friend Ashtor or to Michael or to the mother, you have one consistent question, and that is when. But your patience, your fortitude, your faith has really never wavered. Think of it from our perspective. Yes, we look down and there's a group of people playing power games and doing things that are very unacceptable and terrible, but you collectively have pure hearts. Your purity, your vibration, Gaia's call for help and your call for help has gone out throughout the multiverse. Thousands of years ago, not 70 years ago, not 100 years ago, we have been in sacred partnership for a long, long time. For thousands and thousands of years, we walked the earth during the time of Atlantis. We were best friends, and that time, the renewal of that friendship, of our kinship, is not 10,000 years hence. It is not 70 years hence. It is now, right now. Susie says, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really looking forward to more. And Ashira says, I bring you all our love and greetings from the unified forces of the outer galaxies. Go in peace. Okay, so that's amazing, amazing channeling. There we go. Wow. So much information again. Okay. Does anyone have any comments or anything? Steve, yes, you're on mute.
I feel very conflicted.
Why?
Well, I just read channeling by, I think, Ashtar through Sharon Stone, in which it says, yeah, we took MH370, we took it and we put it over here because it had 20 people who were designing microchip innovations that would have gone all, miles forward to have you people all be regimented, right? And they didn't know that they were contributing to this. They were just solving problems, right?
Are you talking about the Malaysian flight or the?
Yeah, I am.
The one from 2014?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just left conflicted. I'm left in dissonance because Ashira has just said, no, we don't do that. But on the other hand, the other person said, oh, yes, we do. So,
Did they ever, do you know if they ever found it? I looked it up because there was another one that went missing shortly after that too.
yes, right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never
Okay.
found it. So I don't really know what happened to that plane.
Right. Well, I do like that his heart connection. He talks about the heart connection being so important.
Yeah.
And that to me makes more sense than anything.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
And when he talked about not wanting to bring up old ways of being with the starseeds that are on the planet, that really made sense too.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think they were skirting saying that to interact with us is very difficult for them. I mean, he talked about the emotional aspect of it, right? Our emotions are like a blowtorch with them.
Yes.
But he didn't talk about just the physicality of it. That I don't know if it was Sheldon Neidl or who it was, but he said, you're to us what some of your pets and your animals are. You are to us what some of your pets RTU. We apparently have quite a strong odor.
Okay.
So it is very difficult for them when they come down to Earth.
Yeah, and he says a lot of them spend a great deal of time in the healing chambers.
Not only do they do that, but when they come back on board, they have to spend something like 24 or 48 hours getting rid of all the stuff that clings to them, which they're not allowed to bring on board the ship.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I mean, they really are going out of their way when they.
Yeah. And then at the beginning, they said they're not going to give up either. They're not going to leave us. So that's,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
I'm wondering if what we think of as contradictions between what some say and what others say is that we just don't know enough of the big picture to put it in context so that we could see what they're really saying. And so I'm just wondering if, saying that one group is doing this and another group is doing that is getting caught up in minutia rather than understanding that that stuff doesn't matter as much as trying to be open and love.
Right.
I agree. Yeah. That's very well said, actually. Thank you. Thank you, Ken. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the heart, over and over, the heart connection is what we're here to do. And I remember SK telling us right at the beginning of the laws, what the most important thing is to give away the residue, the old patterns that are dissonant, or the dissonance, or the belief systems, basically. Yeah, that are not of love. Yes,
I agree.
I agree. And I think that's why they're bathing us in pink and they're swirling us with blue, so that we forgive everything. So we bless everything, the ascension spiral is golden, and that's connected to joy and blessing everything. So I do know when I'm forgiving, like really deeply forgiving and blessing everything, I feel so much better. Mhm. And the way that he talked about stars in the eyes, like I know, Steve, you met a galactic in the grocery store once.
London Drugs, Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Did they have the stars in their eyes?
I wasn't that close to him that I could have seen. I was a little distance away, but I watched him at the checkout stand. And, all of us are just kind of not really conscious or whatever, but he let one person in ahead of him, and the way he talked to everybody was, wow, just wow. Clark Gable has nothing on him.
Mhm.
It was really inspiring to see the level of decency.
Mhm.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
And I've seen that quite a few times in the reading room, the beings that come in. Yeah, and the stars in their eyes, because I'm up close. I'm like 3 or 4 feet away from them. So yes, the stars are really something.
So you have seen the stars then?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, just it was Saint Germain that said, look everybody in the eye. And
Yeah.
there's the reason for that. Because
So-
not only does the violet flame shoot out from our eyes, but it's, we're witnessing,
So have you seen any reptilians in there?
no,
No,
I wouldn't.
because they have a different type of eye. Yeah? Their eye is different. They're more like cat's eyes, vertical slits.
No, I've never noticed that. I thought they were all removed, weren't they, Steve? Didn't Archangel Michael say that?
There are different types of reptilians. There are reptilians who are not a threat, who are helping us. And they left in the top levels of the earthly reptilians, like the Queen and the royal family, etc. But the kind of reptilians you think of as troops or bad actors, they're gone. Yes. at least a decade ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that some channels are saying, oh, there's a battle beyond Ganymede. And I don't know what to say about that. I don't.
Yeah, because Archangel Michael said that there's no war in space, like around us. Yeah, so it's really hard to know. But but if when one anchors in one's heart and then just really focuses on that, the whole perspective changes. Mhm.
I have an interesting question for everybody. If you went to the Neptune, what part of it would you want to see first?
Light deck.
Man, me too, flight deck for sure. Absolutely.
Yes, flight deck, yeah. Yeah, wow. Oh. Although next would be the nursery, and not the nursery, not young kids, but children, because I've read about schools on the astral plane, and the kids do amazing things there. They make houses that tip over like this, and all kinds of funny constructions. And I'd like to see what they do on board ship.
Mhm.
Sure, the kids are trained to use their powers, and what have you.
Yeah, and I hear their stream too, into what their purpose from fairly early on, their talents and what they're most excited about. Not like our school system. Yeah, yeah. So it's getting pretty exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
you don't think that they're doing distance learning then?
what's that?
You don't think that they're doing distance learning?
Distance learning on board ship?
Of us?
I was making a joke.
Ah,
Well, that's a good one.
that was a good one, Ken. I wasn't expecting that. Distance learning, yes.
Okay.
Liked what they said about the reval not having to wait till the cabal is completely gone, because it itself is part of bringing the cabal down. I
Well,
thought that made a lot of sense.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's the more we let go of all control within ourselves, and that is what's created without. Yeah, so it's not dependent, but it's like, yeah.
Yeah, so Steve, oh, sorry.
Our most important job is letting go of control within.
So what do you think it's dependent on then, Steve?
Well, I heard that the Chinese signed off on it last Friday. I'm not sure. I think they're just waiting for the right moment.
Is it for humanity to wake up, or are we awake enough already?
I think there's going to be a big event that is tremendously scary, that justifies the military stepping in.
Okay, yeah.
But I expect it soon.
You're gonna put a date on that, Steve?
No way. I thought that was interesting what he said about the Neptune as well, that it was a threat of violence.
Yeah,
Because remember, BZ was hit with a ray, and there were black trucks hanging around outside their house in Edmonds.
mhm,
And we did have threats of violence. There were indications that bad things were going to happen.
mhm,
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't know I thought it was because there are too many of us.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that, yeah, our most important job is just letting go of these old belief systems.
Yeah, and keeping our vibration high, yeah.
Mhm,
That's the way to do it.
mhm,
Let go of our old belief systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to end the recording right now.